What's up, guys? Scott here from Crumby's Tackle. Dogfish may seem like a nuisance to a lot of people, but they're actually really good eating. I'm going to show you guys how to cook it. First thing you want to do is you want to dispatch it as humanely as possible. So what you want to do is you want to spike it in the brain, you want to bleed and gut it immediately. I'm not going to show that on camera because I don't want to get canceled. All right, guys, until I get my own camera crew, this is what you have to deal with. So we're doing this recipe in 3 different parts because there's 3 different elements to it. We are making a mango salsa. We're going to be doing a spicy remoulade for it, and then we're making the actual shark bites. I like to do the salsa and the remoulade first, so those flavors have time to mix together and just kind of melt together better. I've got 2 mangoes here. You don't want crazy ripe mangoes, but you do want mangoes that are ripe. Kind of like al dente, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So we're going to put those in there. We've got half a red onion. This would be considered a large dice, but you can cut it as large or as small as you want. You could julienne it. You could do whatever. I like onions, so I go heavy on the onion. Some people don't like onions that spicy, so they may want to go less. 2 jalapenos, seeded and diced. And then I've got cilantro. So to that, we are going to add some black pepper. We're going to add some salt. This is sea salt. I would recommend sea or kosher, never iodized table salt. It gives it a very salty flavor, and it does not brighten the flavor at all, which is what you want the salt for. You want it to actually brighten the flavor. You don't want the food to taste salty. And you're going to add some lime juice. So I'm going to put 1 whole lime in. Just like that. And just kind of mix it up. You can adjust these elements however you want. You can do more mango, less mango. You could add red pepper if you want, red bell pepper. Some guys like that, some guys do not. Personal preference. Make this however you want. But the most important thing you want to do is you want to taste it. So I can already tell. Definitely needs more salt and some more pepper. Put that in the fridge, let it hang out. Next is your remoulade. So this is a mayonnaise that I made at home. You can make your own, you can buy it at the store. If you've never made homemade mayonnaise, I highly recommend it. It is much, much better. It tastes so much better. So I've got this. You're going to add your favorite hot sauce. I use a couple different kinds because I like to balance the flavors. When you're using different peppers, you are going to get different heat levels. So you're going to get some peppers that are hot on the onset. You're going to get some that have a slower burn that lasts longer. If you mix your peppers, you're going to get a more rounded heat. It's not going to be, you don't have to go crazy hot, but you want it to kind of have different levels to it. You want it to be more complex. So I've just got some Crystal hot sauce here. This is a habanero hot sauce that someone got for me. And this is chili crisp oil. I love chili crisp oil. I've loved it forever. It's amazing. Put a decent amount of that in there. And we're going to add a little bit of smoked paprika, because that just makes the flavor a little bit more complex, makes it just, it really, really turns that flavor on, and a little bit of cayenne. What you're going to do, mix it up, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You want to kind of make sure you get everything incorporated. Don't have any, pockets of heat, pockets of mayo. You want it to be mixed up real nice. And again, as you let this sit, those flavors are going to come together. It's going to taste a lot better. Give it a taste. Beautiful. That's exactly the heat level I want. Again, personal preference. You can adjust it as you like. So as you can see here, we have our dogfish. It's trimmed. We trimmed off most of that bloodline. And it shouldn't smell ammonia-y at all. If you get an ammonia smell, you didn't bleed it properly, you didn't ice it properly, you're probably going to have a very ammonia taste because it got that urea in the flesh. So I would start over. You just want to cut this into bite-sized pieces. So just like that. That's pretty much all you want to do. And this is a very easy fish to fillet because that skin is so tough. It's very forgiving. Pretty much anyone could do it. Just take your time. You don't want to, slice your hand off. And this is a two-part process for breading this, or I'm sorry, for cooking it. So what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to marinate it in some milk with some hot sauce. And what that's going to do is that lactic acid in the milk is going to kind of temper that any sort of urea taste that you would have left over, and it starts to break down the meat a little bit as well. So it just makes it more tender. It gives it a better taste. But you can see this is just a very firm white meat. If I didn't tell you this was dogfish, you'd probably never know. So you throw that in there. Take some hot sauce. And again, you're going to do this to taste for what you want. And you take your milk. I prefer whole milk for this. You can probably use whatever milk you want, but just give it a good mix. You can let that marinate anywhere from an hour to overnight, whatever works for you, and then you're ready to cook. So in here I have some cornmeal, I have some black pepper, salt, I have cayenne pepper, I have smoked paprika, I have garlic. You are going to mix this up, and that is going to be your breading for your shark. I am doing this one-handed because I didn't feel like setting up the tripod again. So you guys get the full immersive view. You just want to make sure that is mixed really, really well. And now we just wait for our shark. So I've got my dogfish cut up. I marinated it in the milk and hot sauce overnight. As you can see, guys, it is a very good looking meat. You would not expect this to be dogfish if I didn't tell you it was dogfish. It is a firm, it's really nice. And what that milk does is that lactic acid actually starts to break down the proteins in the meat and it makes it a lot more tender. And the fat in the milk will keep a lot of the moisture in. So this is that cornmeal mixture that I made yesterday. And you're just going to marinate it. You're just going to toss it in this. You don't want to do too much at a time because you don't want it to get overcrowded. But you're going to do wet hand, dry hand. So this is your wet hand, this is your dry hand. And you just want to toss it in it. And this would be better with a bigger bowl, but I upgraded my cooking facilities, as you can see. We're outdoors now, and I'm making ray film. So we're just going to go a little bit at a time. You want to make sure your oil's hot when you throw it in there, and you don't want to overcrowd your pot.
Scott, what type of oil are you using?
I'm using corn oil, so you could use any type of neutral oil, canola. Peanut oil is the best oil for frying, but because so many people are allergic to it, it's kind of not used as much anymore. And so there's all different kinds of breading that you can use. You could use, flour breading, you could use panko, you could use ground up nuts, pretty much anything you want. We're doing cornmeal because we want a nice, crispy, really kind of like, it's got a really good bite to it. And you're just gonna fry this till it's golden. You want some nice color on there, and you want it to be cooked.
Now, what fish would you compare this to, texture-wise?
Texture-wise, it's almost like a halibut. It's a very meaty fish. It's not going to flake apart like crazy, like a sea bass or like a fluke or something. It's steaky. So you could technically steak this up as well if you get, the big dogfish. But it's a good. Just it makes great. These things are great. Pretty much when they start to float, that's when it's going to be done. And what that is that's a lot of that moisture coming out, and that's when you start to notice that they're done. But you want them to have a nice color on them. So these are almost done. It's not going to take long to cook. And as you can see, I didn't overcrowd this pot. Once you overcrowd that pot, that oil temperature starts dropping. And when you fry things in cold oil, what happens is that oil starts to absorb into your whatever you're frying, whether it be meat or vegetables or whatever. And it just gives it a very, very greasy flavor. So if you go to like a takeout place or a fast food place and you've got very greasy food, they're overcrowding their fryers. And that'll happen a lot, especially during like a rush hour, because they're so busy that it's called sandbagging in the cooking industry, where they're just dropping everything. When you guys are throwing stuff in this oil, you want to drop it away from you. You don't want to drop it towards you. You drop it towards you, that's when you start getting splashed with things. Another way to bread this is to do this in a bag. You put it in a Ziploc bag with everything and shake it up, kind of like those, whatever those old things they used to do with pork chops back in the day.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, and I helped. And it's the same type of system. Generally, you'd want a bigger bowl for this, but this is what we had at the shop, and this is what we're using. So this is how we're doing it. But this is it's super simple to make. It's a very abundant fish, and these are being advertised. So the two fastest growing seafood in fine dining in America over the past, let's say, 7 or 8 years has been skate and smooth dogfish. Smooth dogfish is what we're using. We also have spiny dogfish, which is also a good eating fish. And the reason why is the cost and the sustainability. They're extremely sustainable. They're littered out in the ocean. And a lot of these higher-end restaurants are trying to go with more of this sustainability to kind of help out some of these other fisheries that are being decimated. You look at things like, black sea bass on the menu. It's skyrocketed in price. Dogfish and skate are starting to get up there a little bit. When they are prepared properly, they are great. And you guys really should try this, and you're not going to be disappointed. So we're just going to fry these off, and then we'll let you know what we think. This is that mango salsa that I made yesterday, and this is that spicy remoulade. You can see some of that juice in the salsa is just leaching out, but that's going to be really tasty, and it's really going to elevate the flavors of this dish. So we'll see you in a few minutes when this is all done and we're eating.
So here's a little clip of me eating dogfish, the first time ever. Let's try it out. Holy crap, man.
Is that good?
That is good.
Well, now we have to take that out. So.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys, this is what the finished product looks like. Shark bites with mango salsa and spicy remoulade. Everyone who tried it really liked it, but remember, the most important thing is caring for your catch once you get it. Bleed it, gut it, ice it immediately, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.